Hi everyone, this is Bella from Unlock Your Design. It's time for a new Gene Key horoscope. First, we're going to look at an overview for this week. Then I'm going to speak to you about the main archetype where the sun is, archetype 41 or the Originator. And after that, we're specifically going to look at the horoscope for January 24th, Tuesday. We have a lot of forward moving energy this week. We have all the planets direct. Uranus and Mercury were the two last planets coming out of their retrogrades last week. We've had the Rave New Year on Sunday, so the energy in the 41, which is connecting with Venus and Saturn in the 30, in the body graph that creates this channel with the fuel to feel, the fuel for an experience, what creates that beginning of the human experimental way. Venus is going to move on here in Pisces, and she loves to be there. She's exalted there. It has to do with romance, with surrender, with sweetness, with depth and long-lasting love. We also have the moon in Pisces for a couple of more days. We're going to have Mercury in square to Chiron, which is a tension, and at the same time, it's an opportunity for dialogue that can heal. We also have the sun in Aquarius is going to square the nodes in Scorpio and in Taurus, which can shine light on our direction. And also in terms of our needs, our finances, there can be clarity on where we're going with all this energy moving us forward. We are also at the end of the week having the sun in a trine to Mars, which can also create aligned action forward. The main archetype this week is the Originator, archetype 41. It's in transit from January 22nd to January 26th. In human design, this is the gate of contraction. In the I Ching, this is the hexagram we call decrease. In the Gene Keys frequency band, this goes from the shadow of fantasy to the city of emanation, and it's the pathway of anticipation. Here we have the graphic representation of the Originator. We have a lot more information in the 64doors.com, which is the living library with all 64 archetypes we created. In the I Ching, you find the Originator in the part of the wheel that has the lake trigram on the bottom. All these archetypes have the same bottom trigram. Specifically looking at the Originator, the trigram on the top is mountain trigram. Mountain is the same energy as Gene Key 52. Lake is the same energy as Gene Key 58. The geometry then becomes, since we can see that the 52 and the 58 is making up the energy of the 41. The shadow of fantasy is stressful dissatisfaction. The gift of anticipation is restrained vitality. And the city of emanation is stillness within bliss. In the astrology, this is Aquarius, the revolutionary change agent, service to self-growth through the expansion of consciousness. It's fixed air. Aquarius is the energized air of the ethers that calls our consciousness to the cosmos. This is also connected to the 11th house, and the ruler is Uranus. In the whole wheel, this is part of the last quarter, which is the integration of self with society. We did a whole masterclass on Aquarius season that you can still get for $12 in the academy. It's called the Roadmap to Aquarius Season. This is part of the quarter of mutation where the purpose is fulfilled through transformation. In the body graph, we call it the gate of contraction or the hexagram of decrease. It's in the root center where the shadow is stress, the city is evolution, and the gift frequency is drive. We can see here, looking at the whole channel, that it also has a frequency band, which is the shadow of wishfulness, the gift of daring, and the seed of jubilation. This is what's activated. On the 23rd, it was actually activated by the moon, by Venus, and by Saturn, the 30, and connecting to the sun in the 41. So a lot of this energy that is the fuel to feel. So the theme here, you are one of life's great dreamers, and you're here to gain wisdom through exploring all kinds of feelings. You want to feel in order to learn. This is the channel of recognition. The programming partner is the 31, leadership. And if you have the 41 either in your nodes or in your activation sequence, your cross, you're also going to have the 31. We see it's collective circuitry and it's part of the sensing circuit. This is the Gene Key chart for Tuesday. And what we have highlighted already is that we have the 41 connecting with the 30 here in the channel of recognition. So the IQ Venus is connecting with the sun. The experimental way is when we start here with a fuel to feel, and here we have the desire for the experience, then the hunger and the consummation of the 35 and the 36. All this is part of this experimental way where we gain wisdom through experience, part of the collective sensing circuit. We are still on the cross of the unexpected. There is a leadership theme where we have the 31 and the 41 and also the 5th line in the radiance. The 3-5 has an embodied leadership, and it's important with the 3rd line to not get too busy with the trial and error process in the 3rd line so that we don't feel into the 5th line, this leadership of the body. The core stability comes from the vibration of leadership. There is courage as well in the 28 when we have it in a 5th line. We have both the radiance and the SQ in a Scorpio energy that has to do with having interactions that are worth it, that are on purpose, that have to do with the people that are in our fractal, that have a similar vision that we have. You see a lot of 4th lines in the inside of the body graph. Here on Tuesday, we're going to have the vocational core wound, the 4th line, for quite a long time because we had Mars in retrograde. So this core wound of rejection is going to be highlighted for us. We're going to be able to work through that and remember that all rejection is self-rejection somehow. That's especially for the 4th line. It creates this protection around the heart. The 12 is the pure heart. So here we have an exponential energy around the heart and working that purity of the heart, that coming back to the gentleness of the heart instead of the protection or the numbness of the heart. Some of the emotional energy that can be activated here with the 41, the 30, the 36 has to do with the 44.1 in the SQ. The SQ is the 1st line, so we can ask ourselves, are we with the right people? And do we feel safe? Can take us back to some of those experience we might have had in our childhood, because the SQ is coding for the age 0 to 7. Since it's a Scorpio energy, it takes us back as well into the past. This can also connect to the moon, which is in Pisces, and we're starting the day with the moon, the 37, which is the mother energy. So can go back to those situations in our childhood. We also saw in the astrological chart that we have a square between Chiron and Mercury. So there can be healing conversation with, for example, our mother, our father, some family members, where we can look back at the emotional energy that was there when we were children. Maybe we didn't feel safe, maybe we didn't feel supported. And there can be healing around that as we allow that to come up. And through that, there can be an opening of the heart and a healing of that rejection that we might be perpetuating because we were experiencing rejection or abandonment as children. That's one of the keynotes for the moon in Pisces, which is also going to go into the 55 later in the day, which is the gate of victimization. So a day where, with the positive energy going forward, with the interactions we can have, with the courage in the 28, there is this potential for going back and healing some of the old stuff so that we can move on with a lighter backpack and heart. That's the overview of the week and the main energies for Tuesday. Thank you, and I see you again tomorrow.